Killdroid is one of the hardest killers to pick up and die of death, but can likewise become one of the hardest threats for civilians to survive if played right. And it's today's topic on the channel. We're breaking down Killdroid's abilities, how to use them correctly, some key strategies to keep in mind, and how to play Killdroid during the various special rounds. Let's get into the video.
Killdroid Basics.
Truth be told, there is nothing basic about Killdroid, as it's anything but your generic killer option. Killdroid's gameplay revolves around knowing how to land hits with its M1, and using, mostly, everything else in its kit to help make that easier. There's a very high skill floor involved with this killer, and it will take time to get consistent results with Killdroid. But when you figure it out, you'll be able to give the civilian team a run for their money. Although, before we actually go over Killdroid's abilities, we'll have to cover an extremely notable passive first. So let's do that. Ignorance breaks open how you can traverse the map, allowing Killdroid to bypass any and all map barriers. There's a few spots in certain maps where you can walk over small rails or through windows, and it lets you scale some ledges like the one in Temple. Self-explanatory, utilize this ability to prank people by coming from unexpected angles. That being said, Ignorance's true shenanigans are seen when you combine it with Flight, an ability we'll be going over later, allowing you to fly over obstacles and cut corners by going over pits. You're going to want to be absolutely sure that you're landing on solid ground afterwards though, because dying of death can happen if you fall into a pit at low health. With Killdroid's passive out of the way, let's finally start going over Killdroid's abilities, starting off with Eject. Eject is your main source of dealing damage, and it's very different from the usual M1s, as you can see by how long this section is. After a short windup, you'll fire a rocket going in a straight line. Upon hitting a civilian or a wall, it'll deal 25 damage to all civilians in an AoE. After using Eject, it'll go on cooldown for 2.5 seconds. The most unique M1 in Die of Death, potentially the entire Roblox asym killer genre as well. This is because it actually requires you to aim a projectile at your target instead of throwing off a simple melee attack. Best used against groups of civilians or anyone in the middle of using an ability that slows them down. It's not too hard to understand. It's easier to land when closer and almost guaranteed if you're touching the target. But with your slow 24 sprint speed, it's unlikely you'll actually reach them unless they willingly run at you for a punch or taunt. You can shoot at corners you think they'll go around to abuse the splash AoE, and if you're really bold, you can also try shoving your face into a thin wall to shoot a rocket and hit somebody on the other side. This is a really hard M1 to utilize and will take some practice, so make sure to have some patience. Hitting a moving target is tough, but the subscribe button doesn't move and is easy to hit, so if you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing. Killdroid's way of breaking loops. On use, after a 1-second windup, you'll take flight in the air. While in the air, your eject ability will give aimbot, sending rockets in a straight line at the nearest survivor. Upon hitting the wall or ground, Killdroid will be ragdolled for a short moment. After using flight, it'll go on cooldown for 20 seconds. Guess 666 wished it had as good of an anti-looping move as flight. Best used to break loops by simply flying over them, and while doing so, you'll also regain stamina, so it's a win-win. I thought I'd also note that aimbot rockets can still be dodged if the target knows what they're doing, but if your target is right below you, then they're basically guaranteed to be hit. When combined with Killdroid's ignorance passive, you can easily get the jump on an unaware civilian. Really, it's a loop breaker that's useless if the civilian is smart and doesn't make any mistakes. A mix of Artful's implement and John Doe's digital footprint. On use, after a 4-second windup, you can call a killbot down on your position. Killbots don't do anything on their own, but if a civilian goes near it, it'll beep and increase the number of it by 1. After 5 beeps, the killbot will detonate, dealing 25 damage in an AoE around where the killbot previously was. This form of damage cannot be blocked. You can only have 3 active killbots on the map at a time, and attempting to place a 4th will detonate the oldest one. After using deploy, it'll go on cooldown for 15 seconds. While it's not going to shut down a loop in LMS when freshly placed, it's really useful to zone people by scaring them with the threat of 25 guaranteed damage. Later on, after some time has passed and it's at 3 or 4 ticks. It's best used in tight pathways on the map like Artful's implement to block off loops. The high windup makes it hard to use without losing a chase, and while yes, it only has a 15-second cooldown, you can only have 3 active at a time, so think wisely before placing one. Taunt can get rid of your deploys for free, but only if the 2-second force field overlaps with the explosion. Still, you'll want to watch out for that. There's other ways to clear deploys off the map as a civilian, but I'm not too familiar with them. Someone in the comments can probably go over it. Oh, also, wow! Look, a bunch of windup! I hope you're ready to get stunned!
Detonate.
The worst killer ability in Die of Death. On use, after a short windup, your max stamina will be cut to 70 with no regeneration, all of your abilities will be locked, and you'll gain a noticeable speed boost. After 6 seconds, you'll stop in place and detonate, dealing 25 damage in a large radius, flinging anyone hit away. This form of damage cannot be blocked. Any civilians which didn't get hit by the explosion but were near it will get considerably slowed for a while. Killdroid will also take 125 recoil damage and get ragdolled for a short time, and its abilities will be unlocked 1.5 seconds after detonation. After using Detonate, it'll go on cooldown for 25 seconds. I was seriously contemplating making a masterclass in mediocrity video just for Detonate. If someone gives me a good enough reason in the comments, I'll actually do it. The speed boost you get doesn't make up for the 70 max stamina plus exhaustion you get during said speed boost. It's a rarely useful tool to finish off a low health player at 25 or lower HP, only being quote-unquote good if you start a chase close enough to prevent them from running at a breakpoint in the corner, or they have no stamina for some reason. Walk after them, discourage them from finding a loop and making distance, and then use all your stamina right before you explode to seal the deal. In a straight loop, you'll run out of stamina too fast, so you want to abuse the fact that if both of you start running, you'll catch up in the first few seconds but be left behind afterwards. So keep them close enough to the point where you can run to them in the last few seconds right when you go kaboom. But really, I'm overthinking this. Don't use Detonate!
Strategy.
There's a lot of moving parts with Killdroid strategy, so I'll try and keep things simple. You'll want to place deploys in well-traveled spots and then zone people towards them under threat of eject. If they loop you, pop flight and try to fire rockets when right above them, pressuring them to waste stamina, avoiding your killbot's chip damage and your auto-aimed rockets. And then never use Detonate! This is a truly ranged asym killer, unable to actually catch people, even with flight. So, you're mostly going to be pressuring civilians at close to mid-range, punishing people for making mistakes or being overconfident. That being said, actually locked-in sweats will dodge you all day unless you mix things up. I found Killdroid's worst map to be glass houses, as that giant structure in the middle of the map is large enough to actually let civilians loop him, even when flying. Hopefully the upcoming cool carnival map doesn't have this issue with Killdroid. Killdroid's worst matchup is block, as it's a pain to deal with when playing as Killdroid, since they can catch and eject and then heal off it, and it's not hard to do so when there's a clear audio cue for when a rocket's being fired. Oh, also CarePad 2, as it can offset the damage you've dealt with its various healing tools. Get rid of both when you have the chance.
Special rounds.
There's special rounds in Die of Death, and with Killdroid, those rounds can become even harder to manage. So, why not cover them right now?
Double trouble.
Killdroid is sort of an offense support hybrid in multi-killer rounds, as it has a decently high damage M1, you know, if you land it, and a reliable area control tool and deploy. Lean into whatever playstyle you need for the current situation and win. Having a ranged attack means you can lock up zones with deploy while dealing some damage from far away. Focus on setting up your killbots early on, although due to them dealing as much damage as an M1, it might just be better to go on the offensive instead, honestly.
Evil. Scary.
The combination of flight and ignorance allows you to escape evil scary in ways no other civilian or killer can. You know, given you're not doing that during evil scary's enraged state, because it can and will catch up to you while it's in its rushing state. Besides that, just treat it like a normal round with a slowly moving threat on the map.
Gunslinger.
It's heavily recommended that you either maintain a good deal of range or bait out revolver shots from the civilians before going for an eject. As all the civilians are punch revolver, you're also guaranteed to have a Vigilante Shootdown LMS if you reach LMS in this special game mode. So to deal with two birds with one stone, let's just cover that right now too.
Vigilante Shootdown LMS.
When playing Killdroid, if you enter LMS with a revolver civilian, Vigilante Shootdown LMS will activate, greatly changing you and the civilian's abilities. The civilian will no longer need to reload, and the revolver shots will deal 75 more damage, and yes, this stacks with the bonuses from Gunslinger if that special round is active. Meanwhile, Killdroid's rockets will move much faster, but have a smaller hitbox. It's an all-out bullet hell. Go nuts.
Dienation.
Killdroid is a really good killer option in Dienation, not needing to close the gap to deal damage with its M1 unlike every other killer. Staying in the air will keep you out of reach from other killers, although watch out for the arena borders in the later stages of the round. You really don't want to fly into that.
Conclusion.
Killdroid isn't for the faint of heart, but if you want to master Dive Dead's hardest killer, it's absolutely worth the grind. Ignorance can break the map wide open, Flight and Deploy can break otherwise uncontested loops, and Eject can break every bone in a civilian's body. And with some strategy by your side, you can reliably turn those abilities into killer wins. But what are your thoughts on Killdroid? Let me know in the comments. I'd also like to thank everyone who's helped with the production of this video. You guys are awesome. See ya.